Okay, guys, this is my review for UFC 114, Evans versus Jackson. I'm just gonna make this real short and sweet. Sanchez versus John Hathaway. This is Sanchez's first fight back in welterweight after his loss from BJ Penn. He loses to a unanimous decision. Hathaway wins by unanimous decision. I thought Sanchez was going to come in and basically do his, push, attack, but that ended up getting stopped. Hathaway stopped it with his boxing and striking. Hurt Sanchez a couple of times, and Sanchez loses and Hathaway wins, unanimous decision. Okay, then we'll move on to Little Nog, Antonio Nogueira versus Jason Blitz. As you remember, Forrest Griffin was supposed to fight Little Nog, but he ended up getting a shoulder injury. So Jason Blitz jumped in a week notice to take this fight. And Nogueira ends up winning by split decision. A lot of people will say that they think that Little Nog lost, but if you look back at the tapes, I believe he won the first and the third round. Second round I give to Jason because he caught him in a nice guillotine and whatnot. But Little Nog wins. Antonio Nogueira wins, and we'll see what his next fight is. Okay, now we have Todd Duffee and Mike Russo. This fight was interesting because Russo is just, massively, overweight to be. He just doesn't look an inch in shape, especially compared to Todd Duffee. And he looks like he shouldn't be fighting Todd Duffee, and he looks like he shouldn't even be in the UFC. But with that being said, Todd Duffee dominated pretty much the whole first, second round with his striking and whatnot. He was getting tired. His skin was turning, different colors and purple because of the whole oxygen thing to the muscle. But he ends up getting caught in the temple. Mike Russo ended up catching Todd Duffee in the temple and knocking him out, KO'd him in the third round, which was totally unexpected. But he ended up getting the win. So once again, Mike Russo wins in the third round by KO, punch to the temple. Okay, now Mike Bisbee versus Dan Miller. Dan Miller, these guys who definitely are the jiu-jitsu guys that try to go in there, and Dan Miller especially, he always is trying to show people that he has, good striking skill, which, with some opponents, yes, but in this instance, he tried to showcase his striking and failed against Mike Bisbee, who outstruck him round for round, and Mike Bisbee ends up winning unanimous decision. Simple as that. And then we have the main event, which is Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Sugar Rashad Evans. And this fight, like I said, I chose Rampage to win the fight because of his power, and I just really felt that it was going to be, with Rashad's glass jaw, he couldn't even take one punch from Quentin, which I was correct about Rashad not being able to take a punch from Quentin. But once I saw how, as soon as Rampage came out from his entrance, I saw how out of shape he was he just didn't look like the same Rampage, and I'm a big Rampage fan. He didn't look in shape at all. He looked like he was going to gas at any time, and that was before I actually saw him fight. And then when I saw him fight, he was very flat-footed on his boxing and his striking than he normally was. He wasn't the same Rampage I saw that knocked out Silva in his last fight. When he fought Vanderlei, it wasn't the same Rampage. But what happened is basically Evans defeats Jackson by unanimous decision, and he wins. But with that being said, like I said before, Rashad couldn't take one punch from Jackson. In the third round, Jackson called Evans with a good punch. It really, matter of fact, it wasn't even really a good punch. It was almost like a glance almost to the chin, and Rashad fell on the ground, and he was pretty numb. He said, like he said he was numb at the very end of the post-fight. He was numb, and Rampage had the fight won. Herb Dean was about to jump in and stop the fight. When he fell on the ground, when Rashad fell on the ground, and it was a ground and pound time for Rampage, Rampage missed almost all of his punches on the ground. And then when he was on the ground, he ended up tiring himself out, and he got back up. He let Rashad get back up, and then he gave him all the time in the world to recuperate. And then what happens when Rashad recuperates? He comes at you. He pushes you up against the gate, and he does a double leg takedown and keep you there. And that's what happened. And I really do feel that it was Rampage's fight to lose at that point when I saw that he had the fight won. But now Evans is going to fight Shogun, and I once again still believe that Shogun is going to dominate Evans. Because if Evans think a hit from Rampage is hard, wait till he gets a knee from Shogun, or an elbow, or a kick. So we'll see how that turns out, but I guess that should be interesting. But I still honestly think that either way it would have went, Shogun would have beat Rampage or Evans. So I'm not biased in that fashion. But once again, guys, tell me what you guys thought of the fight. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.